Imagine a waterway so vast it could accommodate ships far larger than those passing through the Panama Canal. This is the vision behind the Nicaragua Canal, a $50 billion project backed by Chinese investment that aims to reshape global trade. The plan carves a 173-mile path through Nicaragua, linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and create a channel wider, deeper, and longer than Panama's. The project, led by the Hong Kong-Nicaragua Canal Development Investment Company, includes not just the canal, but deep water ports, a free trade zone, an airport, and tourism developments. For shipping, the implications are huge. The canal is designed for the world's largest container ships, vessels too big for Panama's expanded locks. This could make shipping from Asia to the US East Coast faster and cheaper, forcing ports and logistics firms worldwide to rethink their strategies. The announcement sent shockwaves through the global community, raising questions about feasibility, environmental impact, and China's motives. Is this just commerce or a strategic move by China in America's backyard? Supporters tout economic opportunity and job creation, while critics warn of ecological damage and displacement of communities. The Nicaragua Canal is more than concrete and water. It's a collision of economic ambition, political power, and environmental preservation. The world is watching to see if this audacious vision will become reality or remain a grand, unfinished dream. The stakes are nothing less than the future shape of global trade. Will Nicaragua become a new crossroads of commerce or a cautionary tale? The answer could redefine the map of the 21st century. The Nicaragua Canal's $50 billion price tag is staggering, over 4 times Nicaragua's annual GDP. Funding relies on a complex web of international investors and loans, orchestrated by HKND Group. In exchange for a 50-year concession, Nicaragua is betting its future on this project. It's a high-stakes gamble. Success could bring prosperity, failure could mean debt and dependency. Engineering challenges are immense. The route cuts through sensitive ecosystems, including Lake Nicaragua, and requires moving billions of cubic meters of earth, far more than the original Panama Canal. Seismic activity adds risk, demanding robust infrastructure. Progress has been slow. Groundbreaking ceremonies were mostly symbolic, and large-scale construction has yet to materialize. Doubts persist about HKND's ability to deliver, with transparency and logistics as major concerns. Despite delays, the government and Chinese partners remain committed, citing the complexity of such a massive project. Environmental assessments and land negotiations continue, but skepticism grows. Will this $50 billion gamble pay off, or will it become a monument to overreach? The world waits, as Nicaragua's future hangs in the balance. The silence along the proposed route speaks volumes. The Nicaragua Canal promises a new route for the world's largest cargo ships, vessels too big for Panama. These megaships could move more goods, more cheaply, between Asia and the Americas. For shippers, the canal could cut hundreds of miles off routes, saving time and money. Lower costs could ripple through the supply chain, benefiting manufacturers, retailers, and consumers. The project also envisions new logistical hubs. Deepwater ports at Brito and Punta Gorda, designed as major transshipment centers. These ports could attract manufacturing and distribution, shifting the logistics landscape of the Americas. US East and Gulf Coast ports might see more traffic, while West Coast ports could face new competition. But success isn't guaranteed. The canal must offer competitive tolls and reliable service to lure shipping lines away from established routes. Political instability, inefficiency, or security risks could deter shippers, regardless of the canal's size. The Nicaragua Canal must build trust as well as infrastructure. The world map may be redrawn, but only if shipping lines choose to follow the new path. The stakes are high, and the outcome uncertain. The future of global trade could hinge on this bold experiment. For over a century, the Panama Canal has been the linchpin of Western Hemisphere trade, handling up to 5% of global maritime traffic. Its 2016 expansion allowed larger Neo-Panamax ships, doubling capacity and securing its relevance. But the Nicaragua Canal is the first real threat to Panama's dominance, promising passage for even bigger vessels. If built, it could trigger a price war. cutting into Panama's vital canal revenues and challenging its monopoly. The competition isn't just about size or tolls, it's about strategic leverage. A second canal would give shippers an alternative, reducing Panama's geopolitical clout. Backed by Chinese capital, Nicaragua's project introduces a new dynamic to the region. Panama's era of monopoly is under threat, and the stakes for both countries and global trade are enormous. The balance of power in the Americas may be about to shift. The Nicaragua Canal could transform Nicaragua, creating tens of thousands of jobs and potentially doubling the country's GDP. Supporters see a path out of poverty, with foreign investment funding improvements in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. U.S. East and Gulf Coast ports could benefit, handling larger ships and more cargo, while the Midwest gains from cheaper inland transport. But there are losers too. Panama could lose traffic and revenue, threatening its economy. U.S. West Coast ports face new competition, as shippers might bypass them for a direct all-water route to the east. Critics question whether global trade growth can support two megacanals in Central America. If demand falls short, Nicaragua could be left with debt, environmental damage, and broken promises. The canal's economic impact could be a wave of prosperity or a financial disaster. The stakes are high for every player in the region. The project's fate will shape the economic future of the Americas. Will Nicaragua rise or stumble under the weight of ambition? Only time will tell. The Nicaragua Canal is more than an economic project. It's a geopolitical chess move. China's involvement signals a major strategic advance into Central America, long seen as America's backyard. For China, the canal aligns with its Belt and Road Initiative, securing trade routes and projecting soft power. A Chinese-backed canal offers leverage, a new foothold in the Americas, prestige, and influence. The U.S. response has been cautious, concerned about transparency and environmental impact, but wary of pushing Nicaragua further into China's orbit. Washington is watching, skeptical of the project's viability, but alert to its strategic implications. For Nicaragua, partnering with China is a way to assert independence and diversify alliances, but it risks trading one foreign influence for another. The canal is a piece on the global chessboard, with Nicaragua both a player and a pawn. The project could reshape regional power dynamics, challenging U.S. dominance. But overdependence on China brings its own risks. The outcome will reverberate far beyond Nicaragua's borders. The canal's fate is tied to the shifting tides of global power. Will it be a symbol of sovereignty or a new form of dependency? The world is watching closely. The canal's route slices through some of Central America's most fragile ecosystems, including Lake Nicaragua, a vital freshwater source and unique habitat. Dredging the lake could devastate aquatic life and compromise water supplies for millions. The canal would also cut through rainforests and reserves, causing deforestation, habitat loss, and the risk of invasive species and pollution. Environmental groups warn of irreversible damage, calling the project a national and regional tragedy in the making. The government promises mitigation, but critics doubt ecosystems can ever be restored. The debate pits economic development against environmental survival. The green heart of Nicaragua hangs in the balance. For Nicaraguans, the canal is deeply personal and divisive. Supporters see hope and jobs, opponents see displacement and lost heritage. The project could force up to 120,000 people from their homes, many from indigenous and farming communities. Protests have erupted, with critics decrying a law that grants sweeping powers to the foreign developer and threatens land rights. The debate is about more than economics. It's about identity, sovereignty, and the future of Nicaragua. Who benefits and who pays the price? The canal's fate is intertwined with the fate of thousands of Nicaraguans. Their struggle is the human face of this grand project. The Nicaragua Grand Canal stands as one of the most ambitious and controversial projects of our time. It promises to redraw global trade, but faces immense financial, engineering, and environmental hurdles. Backed by China, it challenges U.S. influence and Panama's monopoly, but progress has stalled. For Nicaragua, it's a chance at transformation, or a risk of debt and division. The canal's story is a microcosm of 21st century debates, Ambition versus caution, growth versus preservation. Years after its announcement, the canal remains a concept, not a reality. Its fate will shape the flow of goods, the balance of power, and the relationship between people and planet. Will it usher in a new era, or become history's greatest unfinished dream?